Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Nexus, where we change our scope of focus from what happened in 2016 to what's happening in 2017 with HGC.
We're going to talk about that format and some of the rosters you should be keeping your eye on, as well as the Gold Club World Championship. This week in Heroes, we're talking about competitive Heroes of the Storm in 2017. So let's start with some of the highlights of the competition format for HGC next year.
To start off, we're going to have a uniform league in all of the big regions, being North America, Europe, China, and Korea. The top 8 teams will qualify for those leagues, but if you fail to do so, we're going to have the open division where you can compete to show that you're still one of the best of the best.
And there's going to be more global competition with mid-season clashes happening in the East and West that will also bring in the best teams from the small regions of Australia, New Zealand, Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Taiwan. And 2 global events that will allow the best from every single region to face off.
And looking towards China and Korea, we don't have information quite yet on their qualifiers for HGC, but that will be available as soon as possible at the Heroes of the Storm esports website. But out of the East, the biggest news when it comes to roster changes is the fact that Tempo Storm has disbanded.
Now, we did see Lockdown and Hyde playing with 3 other teammates under the name, again, of Tempest for the Gold Club wildcard spot. But they weren't able to pick up that spot. It was MVP Miracle who claimed it. So we'll have to see if Lockdown and Hyde want to keep that team going into HGC next year.
And because at the Gold Club World Championship, we're going to have 6 of the best teams out of China and Korea, it's unlikely that we're going to see any more adjustments in rosters out of those regions until that event completes.
Moving on to North America and Europe, looking closer to home, there have been far more roster swaps starting to happen in preparation for 2017, a time when rosters are going to have to be a lot more stable than we've seen in the past.
And because of this, teams are already making adjustments. For instance, Excelente Elección has removed Mopsio and replaced him with BKB, a Heroes of the Storm veteran. And then in North America, we still see the shuffle of players between Gale Force Esports and Naventic.
Putting B-Kid with his previous teammate Big Impact could make Naventic a scary team in 2017. And it'll be interesting to see how Equinox fares, swapping roles and moving onto the warrior position for Gale Force.
Yeah, when it comes to that, what I'm looking towards is Mike Udall is now pulling away from that shot calling and drafting role, and instead that responsibility is going to be split between Fan and Equinox. If the transitions comes rather smoothly, they have the opportunity to possibly return to their older form.
And we can't forget, of course, about Denial Esports releasing Glaurung. Everyone will be watching to see who Glaurung joins up with. And Denial announced that the spot they're filling is for the ranged flex position, which means iDream's moving back to melee, taking Glau's spot.
And that means that K1 Pro can now fill the primary ranged assassin role for Denial Esports, something he did a bit more at BlizzCon compared to his performances at the North American Regionals. But because Denial Esports, Astral Authority, Team Dignitas, and Fnatic have already qualified for HGC, if any of these teams do make roster changes, they have more than enough time to build their synergy.
True, and the only one to have any so far has been Denial. But Astral Authority and Team Dignitas did immediately have to start preparing for the Gold Club World Championship after BlizzCon. So if there were to be any changes there, it probably wouldn't be until after that event anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, but teams from around the world have been preparing for HGC in 2017. So let's hear what some of our favorite international players are looking forward to next year.
I'm incredibly excited to be moving towards a league format. I never really enjoyed this regional format too much, even though I thought that I would at the start. It never really fulfilled something inside me, and I think an online league is going to do that. The other huge thing for me is the $100,000 to every single team. That's such amazing news for the scene.
It caught me by surprise. I'm so excited for next year, not only because of how much money Blizzard's willing to invest into the players in the scene, but the overall format, I think, will be really good for establishing personalities. So I'm actually really excited for the 2017 format.
I mean, it should be good for NA because we're kind of forced to keep our teams together for more than a couple months. It's been a historical problem is that pretty much every team that doesn't qualify for Worlds immediately breaks up, and even a lot of those that do qualify break up immediately after. So with this format, we should be able to get some longevity because the biggest difference between NA and the rest of the world is our lack of team synergy when compared to the teams that have been around for a year plus.
风暴的发展是有很大帮助的，因为中国战队嘛，就打完就今年夏季赛打完之后，有很多队伍都解散了，原因就是因为 维持不了正常的神迹嘛。然后这个的话能帮助最少是电竞水平，各个地区的电竞水平都有很大的发展。
I think it's tough to tell whether this will close the gap between the East and the West. I think if the format does improve the overall skill, I think Korea as a region will benefit from it the most, just because they're so efficient in the way that they learn and improve that they'll accelerate at a faster rate than anybody else would anyway, so it doesn't really matter what the format is, but I do think it will improve the game as a whole, and maybe, you know, if the Koreans can only reach a certain point, it's possible that we could reach it as well.
경기가 많아지고 연습량이 많아지면은 아무래도 한국인의 특성상 좀 게임을 더 많이 하고 열심히 하는 성향이 있어요. 그래서 아마 한국 팀이 좀 더 세지지 않을까 생각해요.
For what to watch coming up this month is the Chinese Gold Club World Championship, where everybody is going to be trying to take out the BlizzCon champions, Ballistics.
Isn't it incredible that we get another global championship so close to BlizzCon? And it's another shot for both Astral Authority and Team Dignitas to show off how much experience they gained in preparing for BlizzCon. But it's not going to be easy with 6 of the best Chinese and Korean teams in attendance.
But speaking of the Korean teams, one I'm looking forward to is MVP Miracle. Not only because it's the first time that they're going to be competing at the international level, but then also because their sister team, MVP Black, didn't perform as expected at BlizzCon.
Well, good luck to all of the teams who will be competing in that event. Looking closer to home, teams are about to start fighting for those coveted HGC spots next year.
The format for the qualifiers are going to be similar to what we saw in 2016, in the sense that we're going to have 3 online qualifiers. The top 2 teams in each of those qualifiers will then earn their spots in the HGC. They'll be joined with the teams who have already qualified, so for North America, that's Astral Authority and Denial Esports, and for Europe, that is Fnatic and Team Dignitas.
And there's still time to sign up if you want to play in those qualifiers. So if that's the case, grab your friends and head over to Battlefy to sign up.
And that is going to round out competitive Heroes of the Storm in 2016, which means our time here on Beyond the Nexus is drawing to an end.
We have been making Heroes content since June. A lot has gone right, but let's take a look at some of the moments in studio that didn't quite go as planned.
HGC common, take 1.
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Nexus.
I forgot my next line.
I don't remember it either.
I mean, Rich is pretty good. Yeah. The way he works with Raw, I mean, it's damn. What was I gonna say?
No.
Let's tune into that, on, whatever's happening.
What sound? What was that sound?
I don't know.
Stop it!
Where were we at?
So they have a bit to work on if they want to perform well at BlizzCon.
Correct. I don't know why I said that.
Indubitably.
Take 2.
Color on this side, color on this side, and if I snap, it's back to normal.
It's pretty apparent. L5. Why did we have to rename them in the middle of an episode? Just so you guys know, if you ever want to own a competitive gaming team ever, just name it something that people can say. Do it!
What are you doing? A work of art, really.
He's an athlete.
Normally she's like, you look so juicy and just so great today. Can we fire this guy?
Don't be a dingus.
Ya mingus. Mother! Come on! It's a wrap, let's go. Do you see what I see?
Some great BSing.
Do not feed the kids the turkey.
This is that tricky line. You're a tricky line, dude. Scott, I have a flight that I have to leave for in 4 hours.
That's it for us this week here in Beyond the Nexus, but be sure to check back next week for a very special episode. Okay, there's crying. He was like, why is the episode over already?
That was another moment for the Rip Club Reel.
Don't put that one in.
Okay. It was an amazing year for competitive Heroes of the Storm, and it was fun keeping you all updated with competition from all over the world.
Thank you so much to the Heroes community for an incredible 2016. We hope you learned a little more about your own play and have a greater appreciation for the teamwork and skill exhibited by our pros.
We learned a lot in creating this show, and it was a lot of hard work, but it was beyond worth it.
We'll see you next year for all of the awesome heroes to come in 2017.
And for one last time, we'll see you in the Nexus.